This is a primetime local news update.
I'm Jasmine King, and this is a primetime local news update. The Saskatchewan government announced they have 20 new cases of COVID-19 in the province, bringing their total to 176. They confirmed the first 2 deaths in the province. Both people were in their 70s and one was related to travel. One person in the province is also in ICU. Over the weekend, the Alberta government confirmed the 3rd death in the province due to COVID-19, a woman in her 80s in Calgary. Newfoundland and Labrador also had their first death related to COVID-19. There are over 80 deaths in the country so far. Quebec has the most COVID-19 cases in the country at 3,430. Businesses and nonprofit organizations seeing a drop of at least 30% in revenue due to COVID-19 will qualify for the government's 75% wage subsidy program. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says companies experiencing a decrease in revenues of at least 30%, the government will cover up to 75% of a salary on the first $58,700, which could mean payments of up to $847 a week. We will be providing the latest updates from our city and both provinces on our Facebook page. That's it for today's Daily News Update.
Here for the daily update, Monday, March 30, 2020, regarding the COVID-19 situation here in the city of Lloydminster. A couple of questions today from Primetime Local News. First, is there any new information regarding the city's fight to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in Lloydminster?
Yes, the City of Lloydminster's state of local emergency was amended on Thursday, March 26. Within that, all non-essential public-facing businesses were ordered to close, which is consistent with the measures under the Saskatchewan Health Act. We continue to work with our local businesses and educate them on what public-facing services entail. And to help limit the spread, we've temporarily suspended access to playground equipment. Doing so eliminates those common touch points and slow the potential spread of this virus. As it's an evolving situation, residents and businesses are encouraged to continue monitoring and checking the city's website for the latest details.
And question 2 are plans for the city to ask Saskatchewan Health to release Lloydminster coronavirus numbers.
The city is in regular communications with the Saskatchewan Health Authority, and we're confident that they will share relevant information with the community as it becomes available. In times like this, it's especially important that we allow critical public information to flow from the appropriate channels and avoid the participation in hearsay.
All right, I'm very pleased to be joined with Mariko Takahashi, who is currently living out in New York City right now during this whole COVID-19 pandemic. So Mariko, first off, thank you for chatting with me today. Really appreciate it.
It's good to be here.
So what's the general feel like in New York? Because in Canada, it's a little bit different, but what's it like currently right now in the city that you live in?
Well, I mean, obviously, everybody is pretty stressed and worried right now given the situation, but I think it probably is similar to what's going around the world in general. I think everybody's kind of in the same boat here as far as this is a global pandemic and everybody can be affected and has some type of trickle effect with what's going on. I think right now businesses are closing and, I'm fortunate enough to be working from home still. So I'm trying to keep my structure in my days and, just trying to keep my sanity through all of this. But overall, I think, it's scary. Nobody really knows what the protocol is here.
Absolutely. It is fairly scary for everybody, really. And you're telling me that you just got back from Ireland. Talk about the process of coming back into the U.S. After international travel.
Yeah, so my fiance and I were in Ireland for an essential trip. So we were nervous about traveling back into the US while things were starting to spike. We tried to be as careful as we could when we were traveling through the airports and on the plane as well. We were a little bit surprised in just the lack of protocol that we saw throughout the experience. I think everyone, it's been so new to everybody. So there weren't a lot of procedures in place to, be as safe as we could on the plane. And when we got off, we weren't screened when we arrived in the US, but we did arrive before the travel ban was in place for people traveling in from the UK and Ireland. I am a US resident, so I would, fall under different protocol for people that are just coming in as a tourist. But we weren't screened and we weren't told to isolate, but we made the decision to self-quarantine ourselves, just given the fact that we had been traveling and could have been exposed. So we're currently quarantining in our apartment in Brooklyn right now, and we are on day 10.
I'm joined today with Dr. Vincent Aguiapon. Thank you for taking the time here and talking with me today, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
And now today we are talking about the AHS's Text for Hope line. So first off, I guess, can you tell me a little bit about what exactly that text line is?
Well, so Text for Hope is a program that allows people to self-subscribe to receive daily supportive text messages to help them deal with stress, anxiety, and depression during the COVID pandemic.
So what was the reason, I guess, for starting up this text line for people in Alberta to kind of get those text messages daily?
Well, we did launch the Text for Mood program in 2016, which many people found very beneficial in helping them to deal with the traumatic events following the Fort McMurray wildfires. So with the COVID pandemic, we thought it would be a good idea to deploy a similar intervention to support people. So we've done just that, and we are hoping that the intervention will be helpful in alleviating the stress and anxiety in the population.
And now, obviously, you mentioned very stressful time across the world right now, really. And so just talk a little bit about how those positive thoughts that are being sent on the text line can help kind of change maybe people's mental perception and state at the moment.
So for any traumatic time or moment, people tend to become very preoccupied with all the negative things that are happening. We have a situation in Alberta where it's not just the COVID pandemic. Oil prices are down as a result of the combination of the COVID pandemic and oil prices. Many people are expected to lose their jobs. So there's a lot of uncertainty. Many people are worrying and stressed about if they are going to catch the COVID pandemic, watching the news and seeing what's going on in Italy, Spain, and other places around the world, and seeing the numbers of cases that are identified in Alberta grow on a daily basis. It instills a state of fear and apprehension in people. And therefore, people are just kind of only thinking the worst case scenario. So the messages as they come in tend to disrupt the negative pattern of thinking that people have, to the extent that at least they pause their negative thoughts, begin to reflect on something positive. We send them messages in addition to some messages also have links to particular helpful websites as well. And therefore, we believe that over time, people's resiliency and ability to be able to compartmentalize the negative things happening on will increase, and they'll be able to feel low anxiety even in the midst of very negative things going on around them.
And now you mentioned those helpful links as well, and part of the whole thing is these daily coping skills, trying to get people to kind of maybe change their perception and turn around their thoughts. So I guess just what are some of maybe those links, and what's the importance of being able to kind of change that mental state and, put a bit of a positive spin on what's going on?
Yeah, so cognitive behavioral therapy is the recommended treatment modality for depression and anxiety, and a number of other mental conditions as well. So the text messages are actually crafted based on cognitive behavioral therapy principles. So this is actually an evidence-based therapy. We've actually run a randomized controlled trial in Fort McMurray, I think in 2017, where in 2015, where we had one group of patients with major depressive disorder receive daily supported text messages, and the other group of patients did not. And we actually found out that those who received daily supported text messages after 3 months reported less depressive symptoms compared to those who did not. So there's actually science to the supported text message intervention.
That's great to hear. Now, hopefully that can work again this time around. So just, I guess, let us know where people can find this text line and how they can sign up.
Well, so people just have to text the word COVID-19 HOPE to 393939. So it's as simple as that. There's no more work that they need to do, and then the text messages begin to flow. So they'll receive an initial text message which would welcome them to the program, as well as acknowledge the program sponsors. The program would not have been possible without the generous contribution of about 6 foundations, health foundations in Alberta. And so, I mean, we are obviously very grateful that they recognize the importance of the time that we are in and the importance of the ability of this particular intervention to reach so many people.
All right. Well, appreciate you coming on today. Thanks for taking the time to talk. And again, thanks for doing this great work out there.
Thank you very, very much. And again, you text COVID-19 HOPE to 393939. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Joining me today is local Lloydminster hockey player, now just finishing his career in Everett, Bryce Kindop. Bryce, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Bryce, it was quite the successful year for yourself. 40 goals, 34 assists on the season, and really capping off near the end of the season, signing with the Anaheim Ducks. Just tell me how that all went down.
Yeah, obviously you work hard for that when you're playing hockey, so it's a dream come true for sure. And it was kind of a blur when it happened at the time. I was really excited. I can't thank so many people enough. There's so many people to thank, but I'm just really excited to sign with that organization, and I'm excited for the opportunity.
Now, there's quite a few different young prospects on Anaheim. Sam Steele, Josh Mahara, both coming out of the WHL. What do you think maybe following in their footsteps and sort of using them as mentors, as guys who, are going through similar situation that you're going through right now?
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to meet new guys there, and hopefully I can get to know them a little bit better. They've been through the WHL, and they've been through the same process I'm going through, so hopefully I can connect with them when I'm there and take a few tips from them for sure.
Now, for yourself, do you think there was really something that, pushed you over the edge within your play? You had similar numbers between your second last season in Everett and your final season. Do you think there was maybe something, that numbers don't show that you really elevated your play?
Yeah, I think points are a part of the game, but I think for me, I took a lot of pride in playing without the puck, and just my work ethic and good defensive positioning and simple plays and stuff like that. So I think I just stuck to that game plan, and I think it got me to where I am.
And now, obviously, this isn't a normal off-season with self-isolation right now. How do you think you're sort of, what's the game plan on how you're going to sort of overcome that and really take off in the off-season?
Yeah, obviously off-seasons are huge, so I'm taking a little bit of rest here, and then I have a little space in my house that I'm going to start working out in and just go for runs daily and stuff like that. And just wait and see when the rinks and my gym opens up in the summer, and then I'll get back to work.
And obviously after, 60 plus games, a little bit of rest is much needed for you players. Bryce, thanks a lot for joining me. I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.